things that God has used you to pioneer could not even have been imagined barely 5-6 years ago.
Right.
Yes. But for me, it's more of a wonder because I know the sacrifice it took you to do that. And that's one of the conversations we are going to have, which is you're already working on large national scale, World Bank funded projects. You know, all of us, and then you wake up one day and say you are going to focus on ministry, but not just focus on ministry, you were going to Umuahe. We thought you had lost your mind.
It's an incredible, weird combination.
Yeah.
So number one is that you're going to do ministry. And you said World Bank project. That's not just World Bank project. It was United Nations as well.
Yes.
So that was UNFPA. So I was going to leave all of that and go and serve God and serve this God in Umuahe.
Before there was internet.
Before there was internet.
Yeah.
Before there was internet. But then again, I guess one of my greatest advantages in life is hearing God. So when people ask me, Pastor Jerry, how did you come here? The only thing I will let them know, I always tell them, is the voice of God. It sounds quite primitive. It sounds like, are you not putting up a front? What's this voice of God thing? But that's what has brought me to where I am. So every other thing that happened in my life, it became a chain reaction of that moment I heard God say, go and do this. And literally, that's where I am today, serving my generation, you know, in the fear of God. And I'm absolutely awed at what God has done in 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's not even like I knew all of this were going to happen. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell. So you were asked to go without clarity as to what was going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know how it is that, you know, God is going to use me. God is going, but he wasn't specific that this is what I'm going to use you to do. I'm going to, at some point, you're going to go there. Maybe if he did, thinking about it, maybe if I knew, maybe I wouldn't go all the way.
So even though you hear God, you know, like even in the Bible, we know people that heard God clearly.
Yes.
But the waiting period could consume them.
Yes. Yes.
What was it like?
Right.
At times when it felt like nothing was happening. God has sent you on a mission.
Right.
You know, but then the manifestation of that mission didn't seem like it.
Right.
How are you able to keep listening, obeying, doing?
I guess today I was consumed even with the little that was happening. I was consumed. So I didn't even imagine there was something bigger than what I was doing at the moment. So I was consumed with what I was doing. So if anybody asked me if there was anything better than what I was doing, I didn't think there was anything better.
Yeah.
So I was so consumed that you can, when you invite me for a program outside of Umai, I don't see your city. With all due respect, I came to Abuja many times. I didn't see Abuja. I came to Lagos many times. I didn't see Lagos. So I don't see your city. I see my assignment. Yeah. And trust me, Umuaha was my, you know, man, as in, this is the place where God has called me to be. And I was very excited. Yeah. It is actually now that when I sit back and I ask myself, so what exactly was your excitement about being where you were? What was pushing you? But trust me, I didn't see any other city. My assignment was everyone around me knew. So people keep thinking that it is now that Pastor Jerry became this consistent, no, go and ask questions. Over the years, I've always been this guy, working, pushing, making things happen. The only thing was that God has brought this now on the scale that it is. That's why I'm not finding it difficult to adjust. I'm not finding it difficult to be who he has called me to be. And I'm just praying to God because I know what he has said that will happen in the next few years to come. That I still become that man. I'm still that man. He will find usable in his hands. Because my greatest privilege in life is to know that the God of all flesh finds in me someone he can use. There's nothing as powerful as that.
You know, I don't want to ask all the questions I want to ask on the day. But something I was saying to you the other time was, so people see and you hinted at this. People see the explosion of the numbers. Yes. You know, the Nsppd is trending on Twitter every day. Yes. Nsppd is trending on Twitter. Jerezi is trending on Twitter. On YouTube, if you use a large screen TV, if you put it on a daily basis on the trending topics, Nsppd, Pastor Jerry. and then the YouTube numbers are blowing up, all of that. So people, when people say things like, he must be doing it for the fame, or he's enjoying the fame, and you think about those times when those things were not, like you were saying, you were excited with what was happening. What occurs to you when you hear these kinds of comments?
Well, first of all, I would think that they don't know me.
Yeah.
They don't know me. Fame is not something I'm excited about.
Yeah. Like I said to you, I said, if you were looking for fame,
yes,
you would not have come to Omai.
I will never be in Omai. First of all, I don't know what is fame actually. We need to even properly compartmentalize what is fame.
Yeah.
So I didn't even realize what was fame. What is it? Even now today, I don't know what it means to. I like me. I like me. I like to share laughter with my staff. I like to still be this person who is human. I like to still be this person who. That's what defines me. So I don't even understand what is famous. When you become famous, what happens? You go with your shoulder high, or maybe you change the way you talk. That is not. I want to serve God, and trust me, it's been the major thrust of my. I just want to see Him pleased by what I do. I just want to see nations freed from bondages and shackles. It takes my sleep every day. I want to see the woman crying, that her tears are wiped away, and she can look back and say, there is God. In the midst of a generation overtaken by science, in the midst of a society overtaken by AI, and constantly downplaying the place of God. Constantly downplaying the place of God. And then, can God use me to be that one voice that a generation will turn to and say, there is still God? If that is done, that's all the fame I need. Today, people are going through things. No one knows. You don't have the slightest idea of what people are going through. There are people like you and I who are going through colorectal cancer. There are people like you and I who are on a machine counting down. And these people reach out to you. There are people who have 3 of their children on wheelchairs. There are people who have 4 of their children autistic. There are questions going through their heart. God, what did I do? What didn't I do? There are people who stayed 19 years without a child. Which kind of pastor will you be in thinking about these things and it won't move you? Except you want to be professional. But this thing is my life. To see people change is, so whatever it's going to take, right? Ministry is not a joke. So you can't separate who you are. You can't live in joy and laughter. When you stand there, what comes to your mind? That you have fake people who are listening to you. They've got issues. I'm not a professional pastor. The day I become a professional pastor, let God kill me. Let me leave this whole thing. But if the reason and the major thing why I'm doing this is that a generation will feel the pain. Number one, I didn't plan to be here. This is not something you plan, at some point I'm going to be big and the world will hear me. If He brought me this far, then I'm trusting Him to help me every step of the way. I want people to feel and know the power of God through what I'm doing. The day it ceases to be about God and it becomes about Jerry, then let the Lord close down everything. The day it ceases to be about materialism and not about the grace and the fullness of God, I've got no business doing what I'm doing. I was telling my staff this, as if you were in our conversation this morning. I was telling my staff, it's hard not to do that. I mean, you sit down my passion, I know what my assignment is. My assignment might not be any other, but I know what God has asked me to do. This is what I've called you to do. This is what you're going to focus on, and it has consumed me. So, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what anybody feels and all that. But the encouragement is when I see those smiles, when I hear those testimonies. So people say, have you not heard enough testimonies? Why are you always excited about one? Because I am excited because I still spoke to God about these ones yesterday. I still spoke to God. So every new one still brings me to the place of, truly, the truth is that for these ones, God has caused them to believe in my voice. I will die for them. So the idea behind it, on the day of Pentecost, fire was not on the cloven tongues of fire was not on one person's head. It was on everybody's head. So if all that the Lord has asked me to do, there were people who were doing things by the corner, but the coming of Nsppd gave everybody fire.
Yeah.
The coming of Nsppd gave there were people who did 2 days of morning prayer. They did, but the coming of Nsppd just gave everybody the energy because of the consistency and because of the way we did it as well. So I said, but I'm excited about it. Yeah. I love what God is doing. I love that God is raising more soldiers. My prayer every day is God raise more men. We've not even scratched anything. We've not even today, we've not even done anything at all. There are still so many people until we empty the hospitals, right? Until the FAs, those who don't believe in God anymore, come to a point of saying, you know what, there's God. God should raise more persons. And all of us will not be doing morning prayers. Some people will be holding the fort in their different industries. And that in itself for me is absolutely mind-blowing. So for me, it is God raise more. Everyone who knows me knows that I am kingdom-oriented. I am body of Christ. I'm pro-body of Christ. I'm pro-body of Christ. I'm not for Paul or Apollos. I am here for let Jesus be honored, let Jesus be praised, and all of that. And that is what I don't care what anybody thinks. But I think we're getting to that point where when my brother is doing well, do you understand? And the body of Christ, in all honesty, I cannot pretend that everyone who's on my platform is in my church. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in some way, the body of Christ have shown me honor. Yeah. Do you understand? They've honored the gift and the grace of God upon my life. So that in itself is also my way of trying to say also, I'm going to honor the body of Christ. And this fire will not die in my generation.
Okay. The number of times that I've watched this particular interview is very unhealthy. I mean, I kept on watching and watching and watching over and over again. And there is something I noticed about this man, about this pastor, okay? And I want to talk about it. It is something that I've noticed in most of his interview that I've watched. Even, when I come across his morning prayer, most of the times, there is only one thing that I keep on noticing. And it also happened here again in this interview. And I think it is worth talking about. Okay, that is passion. Passion. I see passion in him. There is nothing that drives a man like passion. You see people that are at the top of their career. You see people that are there, and you are wondering how they got to that place. It is passion. Some people will be like, oh, but I have passion for what I'm doing. How come I'm not there? You just be consistent. He has passion for winning souls. You could see that when he's speaking. He has passion for people being healed, people being delivered from their infirmities and their diseases. And that is what should drive any man of God. That should be your main motive here on earth. Any other thing aside these things is not real. Because let us look at the life of Jesus back to back. Everything that happened right from when he came to live and die, all happened because of what? The passion he has for what? For lives. The passion he has for humanity. That is why the Bible states it very, very clear that even while we were yet sinners, he died. Why did he die? He died so that he can save humanity. He died so that he can save humanity. Passion for souls. Today, we have so many people that don't have passion for what they do. And you are surprised. Many people, oh, he came from nowhere. He came from nowhere. You just heard it by yourself. That even before he became a pastor, he had already, he was working on something bigger, because before God asked him to go down to Umar, he had to start up. So you think anybody just come from nowhere? No, there are people that have been working behind the scene. What brought them out is grace that rests on their passion. What I'm saying is, you cannot expect to be at the top without becoming a topic. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button so that YouTube can recommend this video, then share this video, and then hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on our next video. Remain blessed in Jesus' name.